Oh, hey there, Kate.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I have a cold.
That is very evident in your sound. You doing okay?
It's pretty awesome, though.
It's pretty awesome, though.
Yeah. I kind of hate functioning with a cold because you look like death. You sound like death.
Yeah.
But you don't feel like death. You feel bad.
Right.
But you don't feel like death. And so, like, you still got to go to work on Monday. And
Gotta keep on keeping on because, well, life doesn't stop for when you're sick.
Right.
All of that would be great.
When I was doing facials full time, I would have my front desk staff call all of my clients that day.
If you were sick?
Yeah, and say, hey, she is coming in. She's going to be wearing a mask. Are you okay with her working on you? And 9 out of 10, they were like, yeah, that's fine. But I will have the occasional, I'll reschedule.
Which I get.
Exactly. So I'll probably have to do that for Monday. Hey, people, we're podcasting on Saturday. So I'll probably have them call on Monday and make sure that, I'm not doing, I think I might have one facial on Monday. Otherwise, it's all massage. But
okay.
So I'm not super close all the time, but I still work on their neck and shoulders. And
you're close enough, and obviously germs can transfer or whatever.
Right.
So I get that.
So,
but I would assume, obviously being in the profession you are, you have to wash your hands a lot and all that stuff.
A lot,
right? Yeah, I figured. Yeah. But I know you have a question for me, but I just wanted to say something really quick.
Okay.
I wanted to apologize to you about a word that I always thought it was a certain way, but it wasn't. So I believe it was in Nero. He was playing.
What was the title of that one?
Opera of Death.
That's right.
I always thought it was called a lyre, or a lyre, and you called it a lyre.
The musical instrument.
Yes, and I happened to listen to an audiobook about medieval stuff.
Yeah.
And they mentioned a lyre. And I'm like, oh, maybe Kate's right. I always thought it was a lyre.
Yeah.
That's how I guess I learned it or something. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I've heard it that way, so I wanted to apologize for trying to correct you on that.
But I was pronouncing Mel Blanc as Mel Blanc, and so
that is true.
Hey, we are not professionals.
No, we are buffoons. By the way, did we say that? Welcome to History Buffoons.
Hi, I'm Kate.
And I'm Bradley.
We're History Buffoons.
I'd like to say we'll get better at that because we say that every time we do that, but
maybe by the 25th episode.
Here's to hoping.
Here's to hoping. Yeah. We're living up to our name. That's for darn sure.
We named ourselves Buffoons for a reason.
Yes.
We weren't just making it clever, but
we both have a beer that we've both tried before, and we liked.
I haven't tried this one.
No?
This one is new for me.
Oh, okay.
I've had Third Space, which is the brewery, but no, this one I have not had yet.
Okay, what is it?
It's called First Tracks West Coast IPA, and it's got a mountain with snow on it, so it's like...
That tracks.
The tracks. But no, yeah, so it looked interesting and sounds delicious being a West Coast IPA. So,
and I have one that I've tried recently on the podcast called Fresh Coast.
Yeah, you did like that one.
And it's a juicy pale ale from Three Sheeps from Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
Yep. All right.
And so I knew I liked it. So here we go. Cheers.
Cheers. I had to take a sip of mine right away because I dropped it when I got it out of the fridge.
Was it a little fuzzy?
It was.
Fizzy, fuzzy?
Both. And then I spilled a little on my shirt. My bad.
Can't take you anywhere.
You're not wrong.
Okay, so...
That's not bad.
So, Bradley.
Yes, Kate.
You have hearing loss.
I do.
How's that going for you?
What? If you could speak into the good microphone. Wait. It really kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But it's really strange. It almost like picks its moments where I think
that's called selective hearing.
Well, let me finish. It picks its moments where I can hear just fucking great. Mm-hmm. Where all of a sudden, like, well, you would be in a different room, but, you know, like in an adjoining room or something, and it'd be like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what? And you're like, how would you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
I can hear stuff like that once in a while, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we're not, I don't know, 7 feet away, 6 feet away, whatever this is.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear what you said.
Well, my diction also isn't great.
Well, you know, I mean, can't be perfect, I guess, but no, it's weird because I feel like playing the drums as long as I have and being young and stupid and not wearing ear protection while playing the drums.
Well, and you went to tons of concerts too, didn't you?
I used to go to a lot of concerts, and I was never the guy who liked to be up right next to the stage because I like to watch the bands. I never wanted to be one in a mosh pit or anything.
You didn't want to like watch their nostrils from down below.
Look at that guy's not. He waxes. but nonetheless,
I waxed Nathan's nose.
Yeah, I know. You told me that.
Yeah, he likes the he doesn't like the actual like
process of it.
No, of course not. It hurts, you know.
Right.
But he likes the after effects and.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
But no, even being like anywhere within the venue, and they're all usually small. Even stadium ones, it's freaking loud in there.
Yeah.
So it affects your hearing quite a bit.
Well, I'm going to tell you about the loudest sound ever recorded.
Oh, really?
Yes. It is the 1883. It sounds like I'm not excited to be here. I really am. I'm very happy to be doing this right now. I sound like death.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I can like pitch you up a bit.
Oh, God.
You sound like a chipmunk or something. That'd be pretty great. No, we understand you're a little under the weather, as they say. So we get that you're excited to be here. Just it might not come across in an audio medium. So
side note, because tangent.
Because tangent.
There's an episode of Friends.
Okay.
Where Phoebe, she makes me laugh because she's just such a funny character.
Yeah.
Phoebe gets a cold, and she was asked to do like a music video.
Okay.
Of her song "Smelly Cat."
Oh, that's
Smelly
right.
Cat, Smelly Cat.
Yeah.
It was something like that, and when they recorded it, she was sick and she sounded amazing.
Yeah.
And then when she wasn't sick, she sounded horrible.
Yep.
And so she was going around kissing all of the other friends in the apartment to try to get their germs to get sick again.
Yeah, I do remember that episode actually. Vaguely.
Okay,
but,
so
all right,
the loudest sound ever recorded.
And you said it was from
1883.
Did they actually have recording equipment to record it?
It was probably more along the lines of personal testimony.
Oh, okay.
And like the effects of what happened.
I see. Okay. So not actually recorded. It was documented.
Documented.
Gotcha.
But it was the 1883 eruption of Krakatoa.
Krakatoa. Where is that?
So Krakatoa is a volcanic island in Indonesia.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So it's in a country in Southeast Asia.
Because I've heard of Krakatoa before, but
so it sits in the Sunda Strait, and there's like little tiny islands nearby.
So is it like one of many islands?
Krakatoa is the island, but there are several around it as well.
Gotcha.
Okay. And there's two larger islands, one on the east side and one on the west side.
Okay.
One is Sumatra. And the other is Java.
Java? Like coffee?
Yeah.
Oh, or JavaScript?
You're a nerd. So Krakatoa.
Jesus Christ.
Or am I a nerd because I knew what you're talking about?
Yeah. What the hell? That ain't right.
So Krakatoa actually has 3 cones.
Really?
Yeah. So the first one is Perboe Wotan. Or Perboe Wotan.
Tomato.
It is the northernmost cone, and it's 120 meters tall, which is also 390 feet.
Oh, wow. So that's pretty good size, I guess.
Yes. The middle cone is Danan.
Danan.
Lieutenant Danand.
You beat me to it.
Middle cone is 450 meters, so quite a bit taller.
Oh, wow.
At 1,480 feet.
Okay, so yeah, that definitely got a little taller.
And then
Whoa.
there's ricotta.
Like
The
cheese?
The ricotta cone is the southernmost.
Okay.
And it's 820 meters or 2,690 feet.
Oh, so that's over double the previous one.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So in the months preceding the eruption in 1883, Krakatoa had like a steady increase in seismic activity.
Okay.
There were tremors that were felt from the volcano all the way to Australia, which is approximately 1,300 miles away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Isn't that crazy?
That's really far to feel that. Okay.
Yeah. So some activity happened on May 20th, 1883. There were Strombolian eruptions.
Strombolian? Mm-hmm. What is that?
Isn't that like a pasta dish?
Stromboli?
Stromboli. Yeah.
I always think of Pinocchio.
Why?
Because that's the guy who made him.
That's Geppetto.
Not. Let me finish. Not who made him. Who made him be in the marionette show?
Oh, that was his name.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Strombolian eruptions consist of intermittent explosive bursts, which eject pyroclasts, which I'll get to.
Okay.
As high as hundreds of feet into the air like fireworks.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
Okay.
So these eruptions were pretty frequent coming from Perboe Wotan.
Okay.
And
that was the first one you mentioned. The smallest of the three.
Yes,
Okay.
and the northernmost.
Right.
So ash plumes reach an altitude above 6 kilometers, which is about 3.5 miles.
Oh, jeez.
And the detonations were audible in Batavia, Jakarta, over 160 kilometers or 100 miles away.
Jesus Christ. That had to be pretty
They heard rattling of doors and windows and stuff.
And this isn't even the loudest one yet, right?
Oh, no. Yeah. This is just like...
Wow.
This is just the... What do they call it? The introduction? An investigative scientific party went to the island on May 26th.
Okay.
And they saw blanketed fine white dust with Perboe Wotan erupting at regular intervals, approximately 5 to 10 minutes apart.
Wow.
So while the frequency of eruptions appeared to diminish...
So if they were 5 to 10 minutes apart, did they have to get to the hospital?
I was so going to just mention something about, like, being dilated, but I was like, no, that's not appropriate. And, of course, you read my mind, essentially. So...
Sorry.
Some explosions... remained really, really loud, even though the eruptions were starting to diminish.
Sure.
But they were still propelling pumice up into the wind and the air. And so a large crater, nearly 900 meters in diameter, which is about a half a mile,
Wow.
vented plumes of steam. Okay.
Okay.
And then nothing. Silence.
So did they think it was done then?
I mean, so we're talking between end of May, mid-June.
Sure.
So there was silence for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
So whether or not they thought they were done, I don't know.
Gotcha.
So June 16th, there was another surge.
Oh.
Loud explosions vibrated through the air, and a thick black cloud covered the island for 5 days.
Ooh. Really? Wow, that's a long time.
By June 19th, the eruptions were regaining intensity.
Okay.
And then on June 24th, there was a major shift in the wind, and it dispersed the clouds. And what was seen were 2 distinct ash columns rising from Krakatoa.
Wow.
So most notably, Perboe Wotan, the summit cone was gone.
So it like blew up?
It obliterated.
Basically? Wow.
Yeah. And the eruptions appeared to have shifted to new vents forming between Perboe Wotan and Danann, the middle cone.
Did you mention how close each one was to each other or no?
I did not, but it's all one big volcano.
But
they just have
different
different
cones.
Yeah, 3
Okay.
openings essentially.
Gotcha. I see. Okay.
So the violence of these eruptions caused unusually high tides.
Sure.
And forcing anchored ships to secure themselves with like additional chains.
Oh, wow.
They're like, hey, their sea's rocking us a little bit more than usual. So earthquakes were felt in nearby towns such as Anyer and Banten on the island of Java.
Is there people who live on Krakatoa then at this time?
I don't remember reading that.
Okay.
But Jakarta, Java,
Those
yes.
had settlements and whatnot
Yes.
on there. Okay.
But yeah, I don't recall reading that.
All
That's
right.
a good question. So throughout July, eruptions steadily intensified. And then in early August, a Dutch engineer, Captain Ferzenaar.
Ferzenaar? Is that his first name?
No, last name.
Just making sure.
He surveyed Krakatoa. So he documented 3 major ash columns, the newest originating from Da Nang, and it obscured the western portion of the island. So he counted steam plumes emanating from at least 11 other vents.
Wow.
And they were concentrated between Da Nang and Krakatoa. And upon landing, he found a 0.5 meter thick ash layer.
Okay.
And nothing but tree stumps.
Oh, so it like obliterated the trees too?
Yeah. And then...
Holy crap.
And then Captain Ferzenaar is like, I'm going to see myself out.
I'm not sticking around here?
No. He was like, sayonara, Krakatoa.
That sounds like a really weird song or something.
On August 22nd, 1883, the Irish merchant vessel, the Charles Ball, was sailing northwest through the Sunda Strait on its way to China when Captain Watson noticed something chilling. Oh. See, when I'm sick, I sound really great, right? That sounds so great.
Yeah, it's all nice and deep.
Charles Ball encountered an anomaly. The sea turned a milky white.
What?
All around the ship.
Okay.
And then there was an aura-like silver glow in the sky, which continued for days. And, you know, the sky and the ocean, they bounce light off of each other, so I'm sure there's something to that effect.
Right.
But, yeah, obviously never seen before.
No.
So by August 25th, as they approached Java Head, which is a prominent cape at the coast of Java.
Sure.
The sky above the land was thick with dark clouds and flashes of lightning.
Oh.
The next day, they could only see a small portion over the northeastern tip of Krakatoa, and the rest was obscured by a dense black cloud.
Okay.
But on a positive note...
On a positive note?
The weather remained clear.
Well, I mean, that sounds lovely.
And there was a lovely southwesterly wind.
What was the speed of the wind? 5 miles?
I don't know. Should we ask Mary Poppins?
Yes.
She tends to fly in when the wind changes.
Jesus.
I'm dying.
Speaking of musicals, what did you find for your mom today?
Oh, I was at an antique store.
Yeah.
And I found her the original 1956 vinyl of Carousel.
Because that's a musical, right?
It is a musical. Yeah. So she was pretty happy. It was $9. And it was 20% off.
You said that, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she was happy.
Good.
Now, if I can just remember to mail it to her. So, Mom, if you're listening to this and you don't have it yet, please say something.
Please send me a friendly reminder text.
So, on August 26th, around 1 p.m., the volcano entered a terrifying new phase.
Oh, dear.
A monstrous black ash cloud towered 27 kilometers into the sky. It's about 17 miles.
Holy crap. Really?
Yeah.
That is a high-ass...
That's a cloud. That's an ash cloud.
That's a big ash cloud.
The eruptions became near continuous with explosions every 10 minutes.
And these people are still just anchored off the island? Good Lord.
So it actually sounded like rapid gunfire,
I bet.
following crackling and like hissing sounds, like resembling like a big fire.
Sure.
Yeah. So by 4:15, the Charles Ball, that ship,
Yep.
was just 10 miles south of Volcano, and they are one of the closest eyewitnesses accounts.
Okay.
Okay. Krakatoa erupted, spewing blinding rain within a tornado windstorm.
What?
So Mary Poppins is nowhere to be seen.
No, she's flying away.
Yeah. So the sky was filled with red hot ashes, and the wind was picking up from the west-southwest. And Captain Watson, fearing for his ship's safety, ordered the sails shortened.
Sure.
Okay. By 5 p.m., the detonations were heard across the entire island of Java.
Wow.
As the sun went down, a thick black layer of smoke engulfed the sky,
Okay.
and the Charles Ball went into darkness.
I mean, it had to be pretty dark with all that ash cloud in the sky, right?
Yes, yes, very, very, very dark.
Because you said it was getting nighttime at this point?
Also that, yes.
So, I mean, yeah, you couldn't see anything.
No. So hot pumice stones began to fall,
Ooh.
forcing the crew to take cover. And the barrage continued for an hour before reducing to smaller stones, ash, and dust.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
At least we're done with the big ones. So, were they like, because you said they're like hot stones and stuff, like, could they set like their ship on fire kind of hot, or is it just they were just hot from being erupted or exploded?
I mean, it's possible that they were on fire, but they're also like traveling through the air at high speeds.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah. So the ship, finding it hard to navigate, Captain Watson slowed down his ship, and they were somewhere near the Anyer lighthouse of Java.
Okay.
So though visibility was poor, they weren't sure that they were actually like near shore.
Oh, sure.
So sand and stones continued to fall, and the sky above the island was full of explosions and flashes, and every direction around the ship crackled with lightning.
Jeez.
It's like Thor was mad. He was so mad.
It's like, I'm pissed off, man.
At 5:30 in the evening,
Yeah.
waves a few feet high began pounding the coastlines of Java and Sumatra.
So it was basically creating a mini tsunami kind of thing?
So these waves, likely caused by steam explosions,
Okay.
continued battering the shores throughout the night. Ships within a 20-kilometer radius, or about 12 miles, of the volcano reported relentless rain of ash with scorching pumice stones up to 10 centimeters, about 4 inches,
Jeez.
in diameter, raining down on their decks.
Could you imagine getting hit by one of those?
Ouch.
No kidding.
It's like Armageddon all over again. I am on point with these references.
Oh my God, you are.
A smaller,
crushing them.
I guess I'm getting smarter when I get sick. I don't know.
Oh.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, that's
A smaller tsunami struck the shores of Java and Sumatra between 7 and 8 p.m.,
okay.
impacting areas 40 kilometers away, or about 25 miles.
Wow.
By 11 p.m., Krakatoa was seen when they were 11 miles off to the northwest.
Okay.
They witnessed chains of fire erupting from the island and steams of white-hot fire rolling away from its southwest end.
Jeez.
The back end, if you would.
Yeah. The back end. Oh, that was great.
The wind was hot, choking, sulfurous, carrying the stench of burning cinders. Some of the falling debris felt like red-hot iron.
Jeez.
And even the lead line used to measure the depth of the water came up warm from the bottom of the sea.
I don't know if you even have saw this, but obviously being an island, it's one big volcano with 3 different spouts.
Mm-hmm.
How deep was the island, I guess? I mean, the water there, because it obviously has to go down to the floor.
Right.
But yeah, I would imagine because that's building up through there, that had to heat that water up pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know what.
That's just crazy.
Yeah. And they're 11 miles out, too.
Right. So, I mean, that's pretty far.
And that would probably mean it's also deeper in that area.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Yeah. So from midnight to 4 a.m. on the 27th, the Charles Ball looked to be in hell. A choking wind howled between the southwest and west-southwest. The darkness was broken only by the constant, terrifying roar and thunder of Krakatoa's eruptions.
Jeez.
The ship's masts and yards were glowing with an electrical phenomenon known as St. Elmo's fire.
That's what like the movie?
Yeah, but I've never seen it. Have you?
I've never actually seen that either. Isn't
an electrical phenomenon.
Huh.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know.
So, on August 27th, the unthinkable happened.
August 27th,
But was it unthinkable? Because
I mean,
months of foreshadowing.
I mean, it was building up to
I
it.
had no idea this was going to happen.
This took me by complete surprise.
4 huge eruptions ripped through Krakatoa like bad beans.
Beans, the magical fruit.
Exactly.
The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better you feel. So eat beans with every meal.
I'm getting warm.
I am very warm right now. It's the laughing.
So, the first detonation happened.
You said 4 of them, right?
4, yeah. Okay. So the first one happened at 5:30 in the morning from Bowie-Wotan.
God, that would wake you up. I mean, whew.
You didn't want an alarm today? Too bad.
I gotcha.
So it sent a tsunami surging towards the coastal city of Teluk Betong, which is now known as Bandar Lampung of Sumatra.
I kind of like the first name better, but okay.
At 6:44 a.m., Da Nang erupted, triggering a tsunami that grew in both eastward and westward directions.
Wow.
Like like the Red Sea.
I was going to say, so it's literally just going both ways.
Yeah, just like the Red Sea. I mean, Moses?
Moses? Is that you, Moses?
By 6 a.m., the eruption subsided somewhat, and a faint outline of the Java shore became visible to the sailors of the Charles Ball.
Okay.
And they passed the Java lighthouse at 8 a.m., raising their signal flags but receiving no response.
Oh, dear.
Sailing close enough to the city to see the houses, they saw no signs of life.
So, I mean, I can't imagine they just abandoned, I was going to say ship, but abandoned island. I mean, would that have killed people with how big the explosion was?
Yes.
Holy crap.
Around 10:15 a.m., they passed within half a mile of Button Island.
Button?
I tried to find this island.
Was it a cute island?
Cute as a button?
Yeah. Still don't understand that saying, but anyways.
But what I'm make it one of our idioms.
I will work on that.
So Button Island does not exist. So I'm
Did
wondering.
You say Butt Island?
Button.
Okay.
I'm sick.
I understand. I've been trying to do my best today to not.
Button Island.
Okay.
I could not find it, so I'm wondering if it disappeared in the tsunami.
But okay, I mean, I guess that's possible.
Yeah,
because
I have no idea.
On how big of an island it was, and the explosion clearly was huge.
Or maybe like that other place, they renamed it, and I didn't read what it was.
I suppose that's very possible.
Yeah. So here the weather seemed calmer, no ash or cinders.
Okay.
But they had like a glassy sea, but it was very short-lived.
Oh, really?
A tremendous explosion blew from Krakatoa. Now over 30 miles away, the crew witnessed 4 massive walls of water surging in, completely engulfing the southern tip of Button Island and rising halfway up the northern and eastern sides.
Jeez.
The waves were also seen crashing over the Java shore.
Sure.
Another monstrous blast was heard approximately 3,110 kilometers away, or 1,930 miles.
Oh, my God.
In Perth, Australia.
They heard it all the way there?
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap.
It even reached the distant Indian Ocean island of Rodriguez.
Okay.
And that is about 4,800 kilometers away, or approximately 3,000 miles away near Madagascar.
Holy crap.
Which means, for us Americans,
yes,
who don't know geography,
and or kilometers or such,
or The distance would be similar from Boston, Massachusetts to LA.
I figured that's what you're going to say. Holy crap.
Yes. They heard the blast 3,000 miles away.
That is amazing.
So
Wow.
the explosion was initially mistaken for cannon fire by those who heard it.
Well, sure, because you wouldn't think you're hearing a volcano from 3,000 miles away. Wow.
The blast was recorded as approximately 180 decibels
100. Wow.
at 100 miles away.
Oh my God, really?
Yes.
That's the decibels at 100 miles
100
away.
miles away.
Do they have any speculation or guess as to what would have been like there?
So I tried to do some research on this because I actually read somewhere like it was 300 decibels. But there comes a point when sound is so loud that you actually don't hear it.
Right.
And so the decibels only go up so high. I think it was like 190 for the human ear.
That sounds about right.
And then like the sound just gets sucked into each other, into itself.
Because like we're just having a conversation. I have no idea what the answer to this question will be, but what would this like decibel level be at?
Oh gosh. It's been a long
wonder.
time since I sold hearing aids.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you used to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I couldn't even speculate at this point. You're gonna look it up?
I kind of want to.
Just like normal conversation.
Yeah. So
I was gonna guess around like 40 to 60.
it says a normal conversation typically registers around 60 decibels.
Okay.
So good guess. Yeah, it says most sources consider a normal conversation to fall between 50 to 65. Yeah, so hearing safety. Sounds above 85 decibels are considered potentially harmful to hearing with prolonged exposure. So just imagine all those concerts and how loud my drums are and everything.
Exactly.
There we go. So 60, and you said they
180 decibels at 100 miles away.
So, I mean, that's 3 times what we're talking about. And that happened 100 miles away. Holy fuck.
Yeah, that's loud.
That is loud. I couldn't imagine being anywhere closer to that because that would be insane.
So each of these eruptions unleashed tsunamis.
Of course.
Estimated to be over 30 meters high or 98 feet.
Okay.
With one wave, the wind shifted sharply to the southwest, and the sky was quickly obscured by dense smoke. At 10:41 a.m., a massive landslide ripped off half of Krakatoa's cone.
Oh, really?
Along with the remaining northern portion of the island, triggering the final explosion.
Okay.
So by 11:30 a.m., the darkness had become so thick it was almost tangible.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like dust hitting you in the face.
Oh, gotta be gross.
The Charles Ball was forced to sail under reduced sail.
Sure.
Just before the sky closed in, they had spotted 2 other ships.
Oh, okay.
The Norham Castle and the Sir Robert Sail to the north and northwest. And he ordered side lights lit to make their own ship more visible.
Sure.
And they stationed lookouts at the front of the ship and instructed his mates to like keep watch and on both sides of the vessel.
Right.
The torrential rain resumed, this time pummeling the ship with not just stones and sand, but also thick, sticky mud.
Well, yeah, because it's falling through the ash, right?
Yes.
So that's, oh, God, that's got to be pretty gross.
So the situation became so dire that a crew member was dedicated solely to cleaning off the mud from the binnacle compass to ensure navigation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. By 12, the atmosphere was like a thick, nasty, disgusting soup.
I was going to say, it's got to be like soup. This must have been broccoli.
Oh, broccoli cheddar sounds so good.
That's the second time you said that today.
Oh, what was the other time?
We went to the store to get something, and you had said we passed a stand of soup.
Oh, yeah, broccoli cheddar.
Yeah, like, oh, that sounds like
Yeah. Okay, so crew members standing side by side each other were forced to feel their way around the decks because they were so lost in the dense fog. They couldn't see each other.
Wow.
So the rainfall of death continued until 2 p.m. when the mud finally stopped falling.
Can Rainfall of Death be the episode title?
The Rainfall of Death.
I mean, I like putting death in titles.
Yeah.
That might be it.
Except for we don't want to get tagged on YouTube or whatever, potentially. I don't know if they do that.
Do you think that's what happened, though?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Anyways.
We had trouble uploading the Oprah of Death on YouTube.
For some reason, it set it to private, and I just had to click on something, and it fixed it, I guess.
Who knows? So, under the roar of the volcano, the flashes of lightning, there was a fiery glow above Krakatoa. And shortly after 2 p.m., the Charles Ball was finally able to see the lower yards of the ship's masts.
Okay.
Like, they couldn't even see, like, their posts in front of them.
I mean, think of how thick that was to not even be able to see that. That's crazy.
The sky, however, remained heavy and dark, with occasional sprinkles of sand falling. And though a significant distance away now, about 70 miles away, the ship looked like it had been encased in cement.
I suppose, though, like you said, with that rain mixing up with all that ash and stuff in the air.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Nasty.
Yeah.
So the eruption subsided rapidly and Krakatoa fell silent by the morning of August 28th. However, minor mud eruptions continued sporadically until October of 1883.
Wow. Until October?
So, like, the beginning of, like, the foreshadowing events started in, May?
I believe that's
End of May through October.
That's crazy.
And by October, only 30% of the original island remained.
I was going to ask, so with being such a violent explosion, eruption, whatever, it had to have destroyed some of it. So how much, did it say how much of the island remained? Did you just say that?
30%? 30% remained.
Wow. I mean, that's... Losing 70%, that's quite a bit.
Yeah. I talk a little bit more towards the end about, like, what it looks like now.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, remember those pyroclastic flows that I mentioned?
Yes.
They are superheated avalanches of ash and gas that surge out of the volcano at speeds above 2,575 kilometers per hour, or 715 meters per second.
Holy crap.
It's a little speedy.
I'd say that's even faster than you drive.
Really? The energy released by the eruption is estimated to be an equivalent of 200 megatons of TNT.
Jesus.
Roughly 4 times more powerful than the Tsar Bomba.
What now?
TSAR, the Tsar, and then BOMBA, Bomba.
What is that?
It is the most powerful nuclear weapon ever detonated.
Oh, really?
So 4 times that.
Oh, my God.
It has a yield of about 50 megatons, making it approximately 3,000 times more powerful than the bomb dropped at Hiroshima.
Jesus.
And this ranks the 1883 Krakatoa eruption as one of the most powerful eruptions in all of history.
Wow.
So, back to the decibels I mentioned.
Yes.
So, like I said, it reached about 180 decibels.
100 miles away.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yep.
So, this wasn't just a loud noise.
No.
Physically destructive.
Well, yeah.
Sailors aboard the RMS Norham Castle, anchored near Sumatra, suffered ruptured eardrums from the blast.
That would freaking hurt.
In Batavia, Jakarta on Java, 160 kilometers away, the airwaves shattered windows, cracked walls.
Oh, jeez.
Your house would not handle this.
I hope Krakatoa moves over to the new neighborhood then. Blows up. No, oh my God. Yeah, this thing would have been obliterated.
Yes, with all your plaster walls.
Plaster, I tell you.
So, the impact wasn't confined to the immediate vicinity.
No, it sounds that way.
There was a pressure wave.
Okay.
Like, that rippled on like a global pond. Okay.
Yeah.
So, the wave circled the Earth 3.5 times.
Okay.
Bouncing back and forth between Krakatoa and its antipodal point. So, any point on Earth,
yep,
the antipodal point is diametrically opposite it.
Oh, okay. So basically, you're on this side of the planet. You bounce the complete opposite and then back.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So it circled the whole Earth 3.5 times.
Right.
Between Krakatoa and the antipodal point,
Yeah.
it was 7 times over 5
Correct.
days.
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So the eruption triggered massive tsunamis. Entire islands were submerged. Maybe Button Island.
I was going to suggest that earlier, but I mean, they did sail by it prior to the final explosion, so maybe it was engulfed.
So one account from the Loudon, which is a ship anchored near to Loch Belong, said the crew watched as a monstrous wave surged towards the shore, swallowing the town whole.
Jeez.
In a single motion.
So it just wiped it out.
Wow. Captained by Johann Lindemann, the crew survived the subsequent tsunami when the captain steered the ship head on into the wave.
So that's the only way they got through it?
That's the only way they got through it.
I feel like...
It's to make a T, essentially, with the wave.
They tried to do that in The Perfect Storm, too.
Did they?
It didn't work.
It's been a really long time since I've seen it, mostly because I cry at the end, and I really don't want to cry during movies, so I just don't watch it.
That's understandable.
But if I do need a good cry, you know what my go-to movie is?
What's that?
My Girl.
Oh, where he gets stung by bees?
Yep, Dan Aykroyd and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, I forgot they were both in that.
Yep.
I probably
Macaulay Culkin. Yeah. I don't remember the main... I don't remember Veda's.
I always forget her
Anna
name.
Clumsley.
There it is.
Chumsley?
Chumsley? I think, I don't know. It's one of those, but...
Yes.
I haven't seen that movie probably since shortly after it came out.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
Very rarely do I feel like I need to cry. It just happens.
Just,
but that is my go-to crying movie. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, move along.
Okay, so faraway ships as distant as South Africa felt these tsunamis.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Victims' bodies were found floating at sea for months afterwards.
That's not surprising.
The waves are believed to have been caused by these gigantic pyroclastic flows.
Sure.
And they were the avalanches of ash and gas and,
right.
Crashing into the ocean.
Jeez.
So each volcanic explosion triggered these flows, displacing massive volumes of seawater and creating these deadly tsunamis.
Yeah.
The town of Merak bore the brunt of this, succumbing to a tsunami a staggering 50 yards high.
Jesus.
The aftershocks of the eruption extended even further.
Right.
Similar waves were detected on tidal gauges as far away as the English Channel.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's pretty far.
And these weren't remnants of the initial tsunamis, but rather the result of concussive airwaves that circled the globe several times.
Oh, okay.
And that is still strong enough to be picked up by the instruments 5 days later.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So while the tsunamis were devastating, they weren't the only devastating aspect.
Right. There's other factors in it.
The pyroclastic flows claimed about 10% of the eruption's victims.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that many.
So racing from the Sunda Strait at 100 kilometers per hour, or about 62 miles an hour.
Okay.
These flows traveled 40 kilometers, or about 25 miles, reaching the shores of southern Sumatra. Entire villages were incinerated.
Jeez.
All vegetation was ash.
Sure.
And ships like the Loudon and the W.H. Bessie, located further away from the eruption, were battled by strong winds and tephra, which is volcanic ash and rock fragments.
Jeez.
Yes. We do have one eyewitness account. It was captured by A. Scarth in 1999.
Okay.
He paints a picture of someone who was in a pyroclastic flow. Okay.
That had to be pretty gruesome.
Yeah. So, quote, suddenly it became pitch dark. The last thing I saw was the ash being pushed up through the cracks in the floorboards like a fountain. I turned to my husband and heard him say in despair, "Where is the knife? I will cut all our wrists, and then we shall be released from our suffering sooner."
Jesus.
The knife could not be found. I felt a heavy pressure throwing me to the ground. Then it seemed as if the air was being sucked away, and I could not breathe. I felt people rolling over me. No sound came from my husband or children. I remember thinking, I want to go outside, but I could not straighten my back. I toddled, doubled up to the door. I forced myself through the opening. I tripped and fell. I realized the ash was so hot, and I tried to protect my face with my hands. The hot bite of the pumice prickled like needles. Without thinking, I walked hopefully forward. Had I been in my right mind, I would have understood what a dangerous thing it was to plunge into the hellish darkness. I ran up against branches and did not even think of avoiding them. I entangled myself more and more. My hair got caught up. I noticed for the first time that my skin was hanging off everywhere.
Jesus.
Thick and moist from the ash stuck to it. Thinking it must be dirty, I wanted to pull bits of skin off, but that was still more painful. I did not know I had been burnt. End quote.
Oh my God.
Isn't that awful?
That sounds just terrible.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So the pyroclastic flows moved across water on a cushion of like superheated steam, reaching distances up to 80 kilometers from the volcano, or about 50 miles.
Jeez.
Deposits from these flows have been found on nearby islands. The eruption also generated an estimate 20 cubic kilometers of tephra, raining down ash for thousands of kilometers and blanketing the sky for months.
Yeah, I bet.
The 1883 eruption of Krakatoa had like the unholy trinity: pyroclastic flows, volcanic ash, and tsunamis.
And I imagine there's some, obviously, eruptions that don't get all those three because they're just not big enough or whatever. But
yeah, I don't know.
That one was just so huge. It's like, here's your cocktail of shit coming your way.
So entire regions of Banten, which is about 80 kilometers south of the volcano, were rendered uninhabitable. Lush islands succumbed to ash, debris, and everything eventually reverted back to a jungle.
Okay.
And actually, today it's called the Ujung Kulon National Park.
Oh, there you go. Mm-hmm. Happy ending.
So, official records from Dutch authorities documented a death toll exceeding 36,000 people.
Holy crap.
The island of Sebesi, just north of Krakatoa, was completely wiped off the map, with no survivors of its 3,000 inhabitants.
Oh, dear. Wow.
Yeah. The geographic landscape was also dramatically reshaped.
Yeah.
Where Krakatoa stood, only a fraction remained, and that was the southern third. That was the biggest cone.
Is that just because that was probably the biggest one? Mm-hmm. So there was...
Yeah. I think that was Rakata, I think.
I think that's what you said, yeah.
The eruption tore away a significant portion of the Rakata cone, leaving behind sheer cliffs hundreds of meters high.
Jeez.
The northern 2/3 of the island vanished entirely, with only a lone rocky islet called Bosun's Rock, and it remained as a fragment of the former Danann cone, which was the middle one.
Yeah.
The amount of ejected material dramatically altered the ocean floor as well.
Sure.
So estimates suggest that the cubic kilometers of volcanic debris blanketed over 1 million square kilometers of seabed, filling in a basin that once surrounded the mountain.
Wow.
Nearby islands like Verliton and Lang grew in size due to the deposited ash. While the western part of the remaining Rakata saw an increase in landmass.
Oh, wow.
However, much of this new land was temporary and gradually eroded by the ocean.
Sure.
Volcanic ash, however, remained like a defining characteristic of the geography there.
Sure.
So the eruption's effects even created ephemeral islands. 2 sandbanks named after naval officers who investigated them were briefly transformed into islands by the settling ash. However, these were also like fleeting land masses, and they were eventually taken back by the sea.
Right. Jeez.
The eruption also created a phenomenon known as volcanic winter. The global average temperatures in the northern hemisphere dropped by 0.4 degrees Celsius or 0.72 degrees Fahrenheit during the following summer.
0.72?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so not much,
No.
but it certainly, I mean, that still affects stuff, though.
Yeah.
Even if it's just under a degree, but
Yeah.
man, that's crazy.
So the cooling effect can be attributed to the eruption's massive injection of sulfur dioxide
Sure.
right into the atmosphere.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So winds then carry these particles around the globe, leading to a surge in sulfuric acid concentrating with high altitude cirrus clouds, which are those thin wispy clouds.
Yeah.
These sulfuric acid clouds acted like a giant mirror, reflecting more sunlight back into space and caused a temporary cool down
Right.
into the particles, eventually settling as acid rain.
Okay.
So the eruption also produced a spectacular light show for months afterwards.
I'm not surprised.
Volcanic ash painted the skies with vivid red hues, causing an alarm in some places where they would call out the fire engines to battle the fire, and it was just the sky.
Yeah. Wow. That's wild.
The ash also created a phenomenon known as Bishop's Ring around the sun during the day, and there was an eerie volcanic purple light at twilight.
Oh. Why is it called Bishop's Ring?
I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
That was what I said.
What?
It was just what it said.
That's fine.
Some scientists even suggest that the fiery red sky depicted in Edvard Munch's iconic painting The Scream may be a reflection of the post-eruption skies over Norway.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So the event also led to the first identification of the jet stream.
Oh, sure. That makes sense.
Weather observers meticulously tracked the ash plume's movement across the globe, and it was a phenomenon they dubbed as equatorial smoke stream.
Okay.
So the tracking paved the way for a modern understanding of the jet stream, which is a high altitude band of fast-moving winds that play a crucial role in global weather patterns.
Yep.
So, though the violent eruption of Krakatoa subsided by late afternoon on August 27th,
Yep.
tremors persisted for several months after that.
Okay.
Daylight returned on August 29th.
Jeez. It returned 2 days later? Wow.
A team led by geologist Dr. Roger Verbeek were tasked with investigating more eruptions from Krakatoa. They thought that it was going to continue.
Right.
So he went to investigate, but he debunked these claims.
Okay.
So by mid-October, Verbeek definitively dismissed any possibility of any further eruptions.
Okay.
And then the volcano remained silent for decades.
Did it ever erupt again? Because you said for decades, so did it actually erupt again?
It did.
Oh, wow.
So in 1913, a renewed eruption sparked concerns. However, an investigation revealed no signs of activity. The culprit was probably a massive landslide, possibly the one responsible for the second arc of Rakata's cliff face being mistaken for an eruption.
Okay.
So
makes sense.
Bathomeric charts, which is the study of the depth of underwater terrain.
Oh, sure.
Created in 1919, hinted at a bulge beneath the surface, suggesting a potential magma upswelling.
Okay.
The bulge would eventually lead to the rise of a new island, which I will get into.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so the fate of northern Krakatoa actually remains a puzzle for geologists.
How come?
While initial theories suggested a violent explosion tore the island apart, they actually think it's more complex.
Okay, why?
So most of the volcanic debris points to a magmatic origin, and the caldera itself isn't filled with significant material. Caldera is the collapse that forms during large volume volcanic eruptions when the underlying magma chamber is partially emptied and the ground above it subsides into it. So creating a crater.
Sure.
So this suggests the island may have sunk into an empty magma chamber rather than being obliterated by the explosions.
Oh, so it just like cleared out some room and like...
Yes.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
So the prevailing hypothesis, based on earlier investigations, proposes that a partial collapse happened before the first eruptions on August 27th.
Gotcha.
This submerged the volcano's vents, triggering a chain reaction.
So, okay.
Major flooding led to a series of phreatic explosions.
Okay.
A phreatic eruption is made up of steam-driven explosions that occur when water beneath the ground or on the surface is heated by volcanic activity.
Okay.
So the water, once heated, begins to boil.
Right.
And it can even flash straight to steam, causing an explosion.
So it must have been pretty hot if it can do that, then,
yes.
Right?
So the seawater cooled the magma,
right,
causing it to solidify, and then created a pressure cooker effect.
Oh, sure.
And then the built-up pressure released in the massive explosions.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay.
So another geologist throws a wrench into this theory.
All right.
The pumice and ash deposits don't match what would have been expected from a magma interacting with seawater.
Oh.
So this led to an alternative hypothesis. A sudden underwater landslide or partial collapse could have exposed the pressurized magma chamber.
Okay.
Allowing seawater to enter and trigger a violent interaction.
Gotcha.
The final explosions might have been caused by magma mixing. Hot basalic magma,
okay,
which is commonly produced by direct melting of the Earth's mantle.
Gotcha.
Injecting into cooler, lighter magma could have led to a rapid and unsustainable pressure increase.
Okay.
Culminating in the eruption.
And this is just a theory, or is
these are theories.
Okay.
So this particular theory is supported by the presence of pumice with both light and dark materials,
Gotcha.
indicating different magma temperatures.
Okay.
However, the scarcity of this dark material, which is less than 5% of the debris, led some to reject this as the primary cause.
Oh, so yeah, it doesn't seem like... I just lost the word I was going to use.
It doesn't seem like the right theory.
Yeah, we'll just go with that. Thanks for finishing that.
The eruption unleashed a combination of pyroclastic flows, volcanic ash, and tsunamis. The human cost was staggering, tens of thousands dying. The geographic landscape was altered.
Yeah.
And Krakatoa was there was only 30% left.
That to me is amazing because that's, again, it lost a lot of its mass, obviously, 70% of it. And the fact that, I think, what was the number you said though? 36,000 people died.
Yep.
That's without even knowing if any of them were on the actual island that blew up. It's all from the surrounding. That's crazy.
So in December of 1927, a new peak arose.
Wait, what?
It broke the water surface in December of 1927.
Okay.
And they called this peak Anak Krakatoa, which means child of Krakatoa.
That's awesome.
So there's literally a little tiny island.
Baby Krakatoa.
It's baby Krakatoa.
Aw.
In 2018, Anak Krakatoa had the biggest eruption of the 21st century.
Did it really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It caused a tsunami with a death toll at 437.
Okay. Maybe that's
and
thinking of a
over
different
14,000 were injured.
Oh, wow. Maybe I do remember that then. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the story of the loudest sound ever documented, the eruption of Krakatoa in 1883.
I can tell you this, with my crappy hearing, I'm glad it didn't come from that. Because that would have sucked being anywhere close to that and hearing how loud that, I mean, it would have blew your eardrums out.
Well, the sound can, if you had it depends on how close you are, but the sound can actually kill you.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't want to be killed by sound.
No. Okay, so I want my voice to rest a little bit.
Yeah, no,
Tell me briefly how your beer is, because it's new to you, right?
This one was new to me. It wasn't bad. If I was rating it out of 1 to 5, I'd give it a 3.
Okay.
I've had some other third space that I've enjoyed more, but it was certainly not bad.
I like my Fresh Coast at a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do like that one. I know you've had that before too, so I'm glad that you got a familiar one.
Yes.
But no, I mean, again, third space, first tracks, it's solid, but I've had better from them. So
Sure.
but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry you're not feeling good. Let's get you some rest and stop talking so you don't lose your voice.
What do you mean stop talking? You don't want me to talk anymore?
Well,
I suppose.
all right, buffoons, that's it for today's episode.
Buckle up because we've got another historical adventure waiting for you next time. Feeling hungry for more buffoonery? Or maybe you have a burning question or a wild historical theory for us to explore.
Hit us up on social media. We're History Buffoons Podcast on Reddit, X, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also email us at historybuffoonspodcast@gmail.com.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts and turn those notifications on to stay in the loop.
Until next time, stay curious and don't forget to rate and review us.
Remember, the buffoonery never stops.